Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of The Binding of Isaac Repentance, and today we're in the Tainted world again, and I was thinking of just doing my favorite character except Tainted, which is Blue Baby. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this guy does. I've only played him for literally a minute when I unlocked him. So let me clear the rooms, because first of all, you can see he has regular tears. You can shoot enemies just like you're used to with your poop tears, I guess. I don't know what they're supposed to be. But you also have a special little... Oh, so I spawned something. I didn't know you could do that. But you also have a special slot in the top left, which kind of cycles through different poop effects. And I believe that you can place these poops down with shift, which allows you to pick them up. And then I assume if you throw them into enemies, they just have a cool effect, right? Now, if you don't like the current poop effect you have, you can hold it temporarily and then cycle to the next one. So if you have a really good poop effect and you want to save it for whatever reason, I assume you just put it in your little poop jar and it stays there until the rest of eternity. Now, I'm not sure what the poops do. The flaming one obviously endures flames, which is cool. Now, I assume the poison one poisons enemies. And the others, I have no idea. We'll just have to find out. Now, since this is the first floor, I'm not going to be too prodigious with my use of my poops. So I'll just save it for the boss, I guess, and see where that gets me. Especially with these easy rooms, I don't think it's necessary. We can just spawn more, I guess, as we shoot. And just have a little backlog of poops. I don't know how to describe it. This is not what the English language was made for. These things are literally undescribable. So, tooth and nail, one of those items which appears often in my videos, I think. And every time I try to use it... Okay, so I don't have bombs, right? So now I'm asking myself, can I use my poops to do something with this? The answer is yes, I can. Okay. I'm not gonna pick this up. I'm too unsure about what this guy does. And here's another question. Do all poops explode? Is it just that one? Does it matter like which enemies it collides with? I don't know. These are all unresolved answers. And to be fair, maybe playing this on the first time on video is gonna have a very quick end, considering that Blue Baby can't really heal himself other than by getting spirit hearts, and I'm not sure how the hell we're gonna do it. Okay, so I used the poop, was apparently... Oh, so while I'm on the poopy trail, I get some damage and tears upgrades. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So any X-Lex effect has that effect. Any X-Lex trail has that effect on Tainted Blue Baby, so that's interesting. The 7-cent item, I'm actually interested. The problem is I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna... So let's try throwing it at this guy. Okay, I burned him to hell, which is great. So I think... Okay, let's try a regular poop. If I just throw it... Okay, so it's not an explosion. So not everything is an explosion. Now, the next poops are definitely explosive, and I'm gonna use them against the boss. And the corn poops, I assume they spawn flies. I assumed wrong. Oh, it did spawn flies. Okay, I'm still very uncertain about what I'm dealing with here. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces. Okay, so this I know is an explosion because I've seen it before. So let's try throwing it at do they explode? No, I guess maybe I didn't throw it strong enough. Okay, so I have this. Which, yeah, I thought this was it. This was pretty self-explanatory, and I missed literally everything, so that was nice. That was just a fight. Cool. I mean, honestly. Okay, so I assume with this corn poop, I throw it, and then it just spawns passive flies for me. Yes! Okay, I get it. Now he's beginning to believe. Regular poop, get this shit out of here, dude. Like, well, it's useless. I don't need it. Maybe it has its uses, like maybe you can use it to build bridges or something, but whatever. I wonder if there are tear effects which scale. Okay, let's try this. Burn everything. Burn everyone. I wonder if they're like really rare poop effects. I'll hold the bomb, dude. And now I can spawn another. Okay, so I see, I'm getting the vibe of this character for sure. So he doesn't have bombs per se, but he has a variety of excrements which can be used in various different situations. I can dig it. Feels very Isaac-y for sure. Now, for sure, I'm not doing this optimally. We've been on this run for 5 minutes, and I'm still just discovering what the hell everything is. But I'm loving it, dude. Okay, so the Duke of Flies is gonna fly. We have to admit that we're probably not gonna get to boss rush or any timed event, and we'll just have to resign ourselves to having a nice clean run. Now I wonder if I destroy this. I don't. Oh, I do get the flies. Okay, yeah. So that is good to know. I wonder if the flies spawn while there are no enemies. If we can just farm flies until the rest of eternity and just have a bunch fly over to you. And it seems that the poops do spawn with a relative frequency, so I shouldn't be afraid of... Oh, okay, so you're limited to 9, so I should definitely use them. It's the chosen run, basically. It's what else do you want, right? Petrified poop, getting more things out of poops. Well, I'll actually spawn the poops. It's fantastic. So, I have an explosive poop, which I'm wanting to use to find the secret room, or the second secret room. And I'm guessing that's maybe the best kind of poop to save up. Just on the basis of it actually gives you something. Okay, so these poops apparently don't give you items, or maybe I was just unlucky. That was just my bad. It's fine. I'll get the hang of it. Now, the pencil is actually, I think, decent as an item. But this is random, and Sister Maggie is less decent. But actually, I think having another person shooting with me is gonna be helpful. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not too mad about my random exchange there. Okay, so speaking beyond the confines of this shrine. Oh, a dice shrine. What is it? A 6? I mean, honestly, I'll re-roll these 3 items. They're not very good. I have the Ankh to respawn as the Blue Baby. Is this legal? This feels like I'm cheating the system. So, I mean, honestly, this run has been kind of crazy. If I end up dying and respawning as the actual Blue Baby and completing something, that would be so funny. This feels too meta. It feels like we're going one layer too deep. This is the plot of Inception, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so let's use my poison poop. There you go. See, you saw that poison? It was so effective. Can I get poisoned by my own poison poop? Or by my poops in general? TBT, I guess. We'll find out next. Okay, so now I have an explosive. And I'm pretty sure the secret room is here, so I can just do this, right? Okay, I mean, that was, I think, a good attempt. It just wasn't what I hoped for necessarily. Okay, so here's a tinted rock. Okay, so this is how we do it, right? This is how we do it. There you go. And now I have another explosion coming up, but I would rather go in, use my corn poop, and another corn poop, set my turrets to deal damage to this fella, and now I have explosions I can trigger to find the secret room. And you destroyed my poop, you son of a bitch. Okay, Colostomia is... I don't mind the boss. You just can't be too close to the wall while you do it, and you kinda... I think the second part where he throws the explosion out, you just kinda have to get lucky. That's my opinion. Sometimes, like, you're just gonna throw that explosion in a direction you can't really dodge it. But that happens rarely, so it's not too big of a deal. I did get hit 1 more times than I wanted to. Getting hit once, I feel, is fair on any boss. It's just, you know, bosses are hard, they're supposed to be difficult. So getting hit once is fine, but getting hit twice? Oh my god. Another, I mean, I have to say, considering the run we're going for, fighting a poop team boss is... This is what I meant, right? Fighting a poop team boss feels very appropriate for the run we're having right now. And I should definitely be spamming my poops, because I do charge them at a ridiculous degree. Okay, so here's one bomb. There you go. That's one secret room. That's gonna come in very handy. Save for later. Now, I'm not sure I saw this once before. What this is. Because I can shoot it. Maybe it gives you something cool and it's rare to get it, but I don't know. So I can buy a poop for 5 cents. That seems like a terrible deal. I'm not interested, thank you. So maybe the secret room is here then? No. So it's not below, it's not, so there's only really one other location that I can think of. That's right here. Yeah, not the most common of spaces, but for sure a location. Indeed. Okay, so I'm feeling this character once you learn how the poops work. I think it could be really fun once you don't have to think about it for 15 seconds every single time you pick something up. And I did skip the devil duel because with Tainted, I mean with Blue Baby in general, you just want to go for angel builds. You don't want to waste your limited resources, especially in the case where you're not really familiar with what you're playing as. But hey, it's I have to mention the day of the week, just because I feel like I've become a weather reporter somewhat, and it's a Sunday. Having a great time. I did everything I wanted to do for school. I had all my prep is done, so I'm having a fantastic day. The rest of it is just gonna be dedicated to me and myself alone. I might watch a movie. I might watch a movie. I might play some Isaac. I'm definitely gonna play some Isaac. I'm already doing it. And just having my day planned out with relaxing activities helps me so much. I recommend it. If you haven't ever tried doing that before, you should. Forget Me Not. Now, this is a cool item. What it does is when you go to the next floor, it transfers over... Oops. Okay. It transfers over some of the... Wait, I'll try throwing this at this guy. Oh, nice. Okay, so it deals, I think, a lot of damage when you throw it at enemies. And Forget Me Not. Oh, nice. Okay, so no, it's decent. It's decent. It's decent. The Forget Me Not, when you go to the next floor, it carries over some of the consumables from the previous floors. So I think theoretically you could have multiple trinkets, and then you just use that to diamonds. So good. And you could just use that to carry more trinkets into the next floor, and then you could use those trinkets appropriately. And I think that's such a cool little concept. Now obviously, because I think it copies like 3 random trinkets or something to that effect, you'd need to be careful, or you'd need to have a way to clear the trinkets you can't pick up, like for example with Blue Baby red hearts, because you generally, I assume you don't want those when you carry over into the next floor. But if you have a way to kind of pick them up or get rid of them, I feel like that trinket in particular could be really good. Okay, so I will save the... No, I won't actually. I'll just fight the boss. Here you go. Take it. Oh. I missed the poison. Let's just see how much damage this does. It's a significant chunk. Okay, the Holy Poop. I know what Holy Poop does. It allows you to shoot faster and gives you Sacred Tears. Oh my god, that's sick. I just keep walking into leeches. Forgive me. Now, I am not gonna go the alternate path. I cannot fight Mother without feeling that... I still feel a little uncomfortable playing this character. Right, I can't use this to pull out things. Wasn't this... I could swear it had a little fuse on top and I was sure it was gonna explode, but I guess I misconstrued it. I'll hold this, and this is just... Okay, so I don't have any explosions. So you kind of have to work around the explosions if you want to find secret rooms or maybe open up tinted trucks. So the Poopy Blue Baby is an interesting character. I like him a lot, actually. There's just a lot of things you kind of have to keep in mind. And I bet once people get used to him, there's just going to be so many different tactics and ways to approach them. It's going to be exciting, dude. Now... Eyeshadow, I think, is a decent item. You know what? I can't help myself. I just have to take what's unknown, because it could be something good. Now, Ludovico is an item which I think is not the fan favorite, but I think it's an item that holds a lot of merit, especially with some of the changes done in Repentance. I feel that it's just actually so much better. I remember previously, I mentioned it yesterday, right? But Now we actually have Ludovico, so it feels more appropriate to say it. But when you had certain items, your tier would just disappear. Like, for example, Fire Mind, which causes or gives your tier a chance to explode upon contact with the enemy. That was terrible. It was just absolutely terrible. I mean, what am I doing? It's at this point just okay. I went quiet, tried to focus, and then I got hit 3 times. This is. I'll carry this as a badge of shame, and nothing else. So I was saying that Ludovico, when you had Fire Mine, for example, your tiers have a chance of exploding, and when they do, your tier would disappear. But I believe they changed that in Repentance, so even if you can get those great synergies, your tier is still gonna remain. It's just gonna deal more damage. So your overall DPS is gonna be up instead of down. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, of course, we can always respawn as the Blue Baby, which would be, like I said previously, very entertaining. And it will. Okay, so this is a room where things can go terribly wrong. Pretty much what happened. Things went terribly. You cannot bounce like this into me. I don't appreciate it. And now we're just playing as regular Blue Baby. So that's a message from beyond that maybe I shouldn't attempt these characters with. I mean, it wasn't actually an attempt. It was just me being extremely terrible and mind blasted with trying to show off my cool skills. I mean, if we're gonna re-roll it again, why the hell not? It's whatever. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what's going on anymore. 2 dice rooms. I flipped a character. I got. It's just. Lord help us. So we lost Ludovico, so that breaks that train of thought. And I'm just. This feels like a day where you get up in the morning, you have a bad hair day, you miss the bus, you maybe get to work, but then you realize you forgot to turn something in, maybe like a report or something. And then it turns out that your wife left you when you get back home, or your husband or your partner. And then you realize that your dog needs to go to the vet, and then at the end of the day, you're just sitting there and asking yourself, wow, that was a busy day. There was so many things that went wrong. But you're kind of still keeping it all together. Like, nothing is so urgent that it needs your immediate attention or that it's life-threatening. It's just, wow, there's a lot of things I should worry about right now. And that's how I feel with this run, basically. There's a lot of things I worry about right now. But it's not over, baby. It's not over until it's over. And even if we just do a regular Blue Baby run. Now, the problem is I don't even know what I should unlock or what I don't have unlocked with Blue Baby. And maybe I don't want to go the same path again. But I'm pretty sure I don't have anything with the chest or the dark room. Maybe if we get a really strong run, which is still possible, we go to Delirium. Record that episode, because I don't have a Delirium win on video yet, so maybe that's gonna be our goal. It's just a matter of staying positive, staying on top of it, and just seeing what the future holds, I guess. Okay, so Angel Deal Chance is gonna be excellent here. Hopefully it comes to fruition and we actually manage to get something that's useful. Now, the secret to fighting Gertie is always stay in a parallel line, so when he bounces, he's always gonna bounce directly and not across the room like he just did. You want him to be as straight as possible. You just want him to bounce as straight as possible, and it makes him much easier to manage. Because as soon as you just start jumping around like crazy, then you're lost. That's some hot tips for you. Now, Holy Mantle, obviously, without saying, excellent item. Will I fight the angel? Yes, I've decided to do it. Please be the first one. Thank you. Because I don't have the patience or the damage to deal with the second one. I'll be honest. Like, if I had a bomb or two, or if there was a blue fire, maybe, but there's none of that, so we're just left to our own devices, our own tiers. and our own will to survive and fight against the enemies. And sometimes that's enough. But on a day like this, maybe it isn't. It maybe isn't. But that's completely fine. I'm optimistic. I feel like this is gonna turn into a really good run. It's just the Holy Mantle. We got Pageant Boy. The workings of a good run are set in stone. Even the battery, honestly, I'll just say it. The battery is a secret OP item. Maybe not secret and maybe not OP, but I think it's better than people give it credit for. But of course, you do need something else to get it going, kind of. It really does make some of the breaking a lot easier. So hopefully, maybe we're gonna see that happen. I'm not sure. Now, I didn't find my treasure room or my shop, and with 54 cents, I'm excited. There you go, both of them at the same time. Now, using the converter in Blue Baby doesn't work, I'm pretty sure. It just doesn't do anything. But hey, let's try it. What the heck, right? Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. Now, if I get an item, actually, which does something every time we use our active item, that could be really good. And I just decided against it, because I think that Dead Sea Scrolls, while not better, is at least useful. I do imagine that could work with some certain things, but again, I'm just the messenger. Okay, so this room. I know how to deal with this room. I've dealt with it 100 million times. I just need to get a good entrance. And now, of course, the curse rooms are into play because we have Holy Mantle. And with curse rooms, there's always a guppy chance. And with a guppy chance, that means that there's always potential of a great run just around the corner. I've seen instances where people go into the curse room and get 3 guppy items at once. It's been known to happen. I'm not saying it's frequent, but baby, you're gonna miss every shot you don't take. And I'm ready to take shots. Sometimes, you know, this is what I read about the other day, and the mentality fake it till you make it is actually kind of not confirmed. It's not... Oh, I could just do this actually, now that I think about it. That's much better. I don't think there were any bombs in the shop, but if there were, I'll buy it, just so maybe I can get to the boss room. No, there wasn't. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. So the mentality of, yeah, fake it till you make it is not really true. Or at least it's not scientifically backed, which is not a surprise to me, because most of psychological papers or psychology papers are just a mess, just called garbage, and they don't have any basis in science. So, like, how you're gonna measure if good attitude is actually gonna help you in life? The answer is you're probably not. The nails, see, like, we get a spirit heart, that's great. The answer is you're probably not. It's gonna be quite difficult. So on that account, there's no real backing that works. But I think it's also just a matter of personal preference. If you think it's like a placebo, right? If you feel it helps you, then probably there's some merit to that. And this is kind of my... Oops. This is kind of my takeaway with modern medicine in general. Just because I've seen the inner workings and experimentation that the doctors do on their patients. And I'm not saying you shouldn't trust doctors. I'm just saying that you shouldn't trust that we've solved everything there is to solve about the human condition. Because in reality, there's just so many things, diseases, that have not been addressed by our modern society. And I think it's a relic that we think that we are much more advanced than we are. But then it turns out that we're actually not. I think the COVID pandemic is also just a great example of that, because you would think, well, a modern society like ours, which is well connected, well informed, and whatnot, there's no possible chance that we will be subject to such extreme measures that we're facing now. But then, as it turns out, that's not exactly true, right? I mean, it did kind of catch us with our pants down, and we didn't have a good response worldwide, and there's a lot of death tolls, and we just weren't prepared. And you would think, well, that sucks. And then you ask yourself, are there any other aspects of humanity which maybe we overestimate? And I think that science and medicine is definitely one of them. There's just so many things we haven't figured out yet. So I do think that if you're the kind of person who scoffs at maybe alternative medicine or even just any non-standard medicine, you should give it a chance if you have trouble, because ultimately, if it helps you, dude, it helps you. That's really all that there is to it. Or if you feel it helps you, that's good enough in the majority of cases. And that's just, it's just like I said, it's just kind of scary to think about. But also, I think it's just inevitable. We're all gonna have to deal. I think I'm gonna take the wooden cross. I'm not sure if the effect stacks, but if it does, that's pretty cool. Because then I'm basically immortal. There you go. See the makings of a good runner here. I just need a little bit more damage, a little bit more stats, and we're good to go. Like one Sacred Heart is all it takes. Beautiful. So until then, I think this is also not, like, you can't really do much about it as an individual. You can't really progress science forward by yourself. That's just kind of a mission impossible at this point. So all you can really do is just have a nice time, hope that smarter people are gonna figure it out. Obviously, if you have some ambitions of yourself, chase them. You should chase them. But we're just kind of at the mercy of the world around us, and it's a scary prospect, but also it's kind of a freeing prospect, because now we can just be like, you know, I'll just do what I can to make this world a little bit of a better place, and that's all I can really do to some extent. I'm not saying give up, and obviously if you see injustice or if there are things that need to be fixed, fix them. We should fix them as collectively. But I'm just saying on the grand scheme, like I'm just saying in terms of things that are just impossible at this point. If you worry about, say, time travel, there's probably not much we can do about it. So it's also just a matter of, let's be realistic and just focus on the things that we can address. Maybe that's a better takeaway from this. Now, I don't know how I got to this political stance right now. I don't mind politics. It's probably not a surprise, but I'm just not sure which train of thought led me here. But here we are, so I guess this is our life now. Now, another thing I did consider talking about yesterday, I wanted to talk about Pixar movies, which is a completely unrelated topic, but I feel there is a way for me to connect these two together. And I think that Pixar movies and Disney movies and just animated movies aimed at children, I feel like they're actually a great detriment to our society. This is probably the hottest take you'll hear this week. And I'm not saying that animated movies as a whole are not good or cannot be beneficial. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying specifically Disney movies and Pixar movies. In their current form, I think they're not conducive to being a benefit to our society. I'm not saying they're damaging necessarily. I just think they're not really helpful. and a part of this is, I think they're revealed in this. So okay, let's get one thing straight. The first thing straight is that are they entertainment? Ultimately, if you just see them as entertainment, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Entertaining things are just supposed to be entertaining, and that's fine. What I think the problem is when people see some of these movies and they see them as lessons in a way for their children, and I think that's extremely, to some extent, problematic, because if you're gonna have something and you're gonna show it to your kids and then they're gonna shape their life view based on that, I don't want Disney or Pixar to shape my kids' view of life. I feel that's just not healthy or good. Right? Because the interest of Disney or Pixar is not to educate the children to be better members of society or whatever. Their intentions is to make money, and we should be aware of that. Yeah, sure, their movies are cute, and some of them have nice messages for sure, and I would say, like, for example, I watched WALL-E yesterday. I think that's just a generally positive movie, which is a reflection of our society, and I think it's good and important that we have it. But do I want a child to see that and be like, hey, we should be like this, we should act in this according to this in this way? Absolutely not, because the conglomerate Disney is gonna swallow us all one day, and I don't want them to have a monopoly on morality. To be fair, that's my problem. I mean, when I say problem, it's not. I don't lose my sleep over it. I was just thinking, because I do think there's a disconnect between people who see these movies as just it's just something fun to watch, and there is a subset of people who think these are great educational tools, maybe even, and just a nice way for children to grasp some concepts, which in a nice, safe manner. And I do think that movies have this role in society, and just media in general, that we are exposed to certain things in a very comfortable, safe environment that otherwise we probably wouldn't see. So like war movies, I think, are important, because with more war movies, you're dealing with something that we can't really face in the modern world, and you know, it's better we don't face it. Just because I don't want to be in a war to know what it's like. So having movies that showcase that to varying degrees of accuracy, I think is important, because then we can see how it is, and we can kind of prevent our society from steering in that direction unwillingly, just because the people are educated. We're like, hey, you know, this is bad. Maybe we don't want a riot in our hands, and then if we see what leads to it, and how it looks like, maybe we're gonna be a little bit more cognizant of it in the future, and then we're just gonna act accordingly. And I think that's so important. But with things like personal growth, emotions, I feel that we are just not there yet when it comes to our, say, education about it. Just like I said before, psychology is still a very unsure science to some extent. Obviously there's a lot of things, and I think in the recent years it's gotten a lot better, but I know that it has its own fair share of problems. There's a lot of things that are based on very bad technological, psychological papers, which probably have no merit in real life at all. So we should just be careful. We should be skeptic to some extent, and I think that it's important to say this out loud. And now I'm gonna go get off my soapbox and pretend like I know anything about the world, and pretend like this is anything more than my opinion. And I'm gonna start telling you about my favorite movie of all time from Pixar. I mean, my favorite Pixar movie. Let's just say it like it is. And that's Ratatouille. Now, Ratatouille is just freaking flippin' fantastic. I recommend it for anyone who's a human being. And even honestly, show it to your dog and your pets as well. They might appreciate the newfound appreciation for cooking and food. And maybe you'll never know, they're gonna turn into world-class chefs, and you don't have to cook another lunch ever again, because your pet or your cat is gonna be so good at producing high-quality meals that you're not even gonna be able to cook again. That would be pretty good, right? Because then, I mean, pets are great, but maybe the only problem with pets is that they do take a lot of time. So if there was a way for us to get something extra from them, like for example, if they were able, or they managed to cook us a good meal, like that would be pretty fantastic. Not as slave labor, like if they actually were passionate about it, of course. But Ratatouille is just a perfect encapsulation of a dream that we all have to some extent. We all have a dream. We all want to accomplish something, right? And it's a great example. I think the one thing that people conflate it with is that Remy didn't really try hard to become as good as he is. He was kind of naturally born into having good talent, and that good talent is basically just having a keen sense of smell and an interest outside of his scopes. But I think it's the interest that really is the key selling point here. It's not so much the fact that Remy is just a naturally talented cook. It's more the fact that he's coming from the slums, from the world which knows nothing about the great culinary experiences, and yet he's like, hey, you know, we should have a higher standard for ourselves, And not just we should, I want us to have higher standards for ourselves. He has a real appreciation for what he's doing. And I think this is what's so important about that movie. Having that real appreciation, that real spark of joy, and just chasing it no matter what is I think it's a good way to be happy in life. Maybe it's not the only way, it's definitely not the only way, but for creative types especially, I feel like having that joy, that spark to do something you've wanted to do and just going for it is so valuable. It's portrayed so earnestly too for basically a rat who's trying to cook, which is, I don't have to say it, kind of unimaginable, right? But it is something that keeps me going back to YouTube as well. I mean, YouTube for me is just, it really is just a collection of my thoughts in videos and just playing games, to things I enjoy doing. But I do have to say there's a certain sense of catharsis every single time I upload one. It feels like a little project of mine, which I've been working on, has been put out there into the world, where maybe at least one person can resonate with it. Maybe they can smile at it, maybe they can learn something new, maybe they can, even if they just get upset because I said something, at least I moved someone. At least my messages, my inaccurate opinions, and my standoffish attitude has managed to affect someone. And I think that's one of the great beauties in life that we just don't foster in people. It's not an aspect that you're really taught in school. And I think it's important for the collective, because we need to be out there inspiring each other, giving each other ideas, learning new skills, and it's just all of those things combined. I want to have good role models. I wanna see you, and yeah, I'm talking to you directly. Show me something you're really good at, or just something you're passionate about, and I'll love it. I'll just learn something, and that's gonna be great. That's gonna be good for all of us, I think. That would be fantastic if everyone was inclined to share their inner things. I'm not even saying that you have to be, say, extroverted, or you have to really put yourself out there. Even if it's just anonymous, even if it's just in a very safe space, even if it's just two friends talking to each other, having that ability there is so good. Capricorn is such a decent item to get here, actually. That's solely off the rocker. And again, I went on my soapbox, and I don't apologize for it, because I'm making this for me. Member card. Now, this, I always get this on the last floor. 21 cents for Sigil of Baphomet. I think it's what it's called. Now, what does Sigil of Baphomet do again? I think I googled it last time, but I'll do it again. I think I recall it being a pretty decent item. So let me do it. Sigil of Baphomet. I always Google items, and then I'm like, oh, these things exist outside of Isaac. Oh, right, they give you a shield after you kill an enemy, so that's actually really decent. So I want it, because with shield and the holy mantle, and I mean, I like the wooden cross. It gives you a holy mantle for the entire floor, and it seems to stack with this. But with the Sigil of Baphomet giving you a shield on top of that, just feels. Oh wait, it's an active item. Oh, that's even better. That means I don't have to replace my wooden cross. So is this just a crazy defensive run now? It seems so. Now I feel like I'm forgetting. I feel like the item that gives you shields is a trinket, but this might just be misremembering. So, oh, I was here. Now I remember. Sometimes I swear to God, I used to have, or I felt like I had really good memory, but then that was mostly because I was just inside all the time and not a lot has happened to me. And I was just started doing things like going to work, going to school and whatnot, and just you interact with many different people every day. You realize that all of our memories are actually kind of bad. It's just hard to process everything and save it and store it for. There was a card. Oh, that was probably the fool, wasn't it? We've been 40 minutes and we're only on... Okay, no, Sigil of Baphomet does the explosions. Okay, that's fine actually, I don't mind it. It's a nice little AoE item, it increases our overall DPS, so I think it's better than Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, Dead Sea Scrolls is actually... I feel like it really proved its worth there. It gave us a lot of health. In some rooms it gave us the DPS that we needed. Nice, dude. I love the effect. And honestly, just having a new item, which is I'm not used to, is just enough to make this run pop off. Thank you, Cube of Meat. I appreciate it. It's also a nice aspect of just how many enemies you kill in a regular mom fight. I mean, you're seeing all these souls. It's kind of crazy. But to be fair, I guess one big spider counts for 3 enemies because they spawn 2 little enemies. Now, having also the Rotten Baby, let's give credit where it's deserved. Rotten Baby has been carrying this run pretty much. That's how I feel. What's going on? So, okay, we could go up or we could go down. Now, I said Delirium, but that's not happening unless we get a Void Portal. So let's go up. Let's just do a regular chest run and just have a nice time. Let's do that. We're only gonna unlock one new thing, but that's you know. Who said that we have to do something every single round? Why do we have to be productive? Let's listen to our own advice and just have a good old time. A good grand old time. I don't know why. I don't know where that phrase came from. A grand old time, but it sounds fantastic. Because you're implying you're gonna have a big time, like a grand time, and that just sounds exciting. Okay, so the moon. I love it. I was just here. I'm an idiot. It's actually the reason why I used it is I just wanted to get rid of the full card because it annoys me that it's there and there's no real use scenario for me, I think, because I can't even use it going to now. One of the use scenarios I can think of is we happen to get teleported to the I am error room, we can teleport out, and that's a very specific scenario which might or might not happen. But if it does, don't say I didn't warn you. Now I'm also wondering, so this is another thought that's been percolating in my head for a long time, and that's daily runs. I really want to get back to doing daily runs, but I don't know anyone who's doing them yet. So it's a bit of a weird dynamic, I think, because I don't want to do them until I have everything unlocked, because I believe that in daily runs, by default, everything is unlocked. So I don't want to spoil things for myself. Oh, nice. You know, the big guys explode more. That's pretty cool. So yeah, they do have things unlocked, which is just, I don't want to spoil things for myself, essentially. But at the same time, I also wonder if there were any changes done to the daily run formula, because when we used to play them back in the day and we were getting scored, there was just... Let's just say we weren't happy with how things were. The scoring system is kind of insane. I mean, I guess we also have the scoring system in the regular base game as well. But the way it worked, so every time you took damage, your score was reduced, and then every time you picked up coins or any consumable, it would be increased. But the problem is that this consumable cap was actually much higher than how many you could hold. So the only way to get a really good run and rank well would be to break the game and just spawn an infinite amount of consumables. And that included some crazy strategies like using the jar to pick up red hearts and then drop them on the ground and then pick them up again, etc, etc. And that's something you did for 20 minutes to get a high score. And then you were proud of yourself? Oh, there was another wave. Oh, this is the regular room, not the boss trap room. What the hell? Why there's so many bosses? So you just use the jar over and over again, which sounds just as boring as you might imagine, and then eventually everyone just kind of stopped doing the daily runs. And now I wonder if anything has changed. Now, I'm seeing that I have 14,000 score, which is very low for this time, but usually you would want to go to boss rush, because that gave you like a 4,000 or a 5,000 point bonus. And also, I'm just wondering, like, if I pick up a consumable, whether my points are going to increase and by how much. Just as a little test. Now, I feel that my inclination is to think they haven't changed it, because daily runs are such a specific part of Isaac, which I think are... Okay, so this looks to be the same. Such a specific part of Isaac, which I think many people don't play outside of doing their challenges, and even those challenges can be kind of grating, because you have to play, or you have to win 5 daily runs in a row, I think, and then you have to play 30 daily runs in total, I think, or something to that effect, and you get 2 unlocks for that. Isaac is known for having a lot of, let's just say, weird challenges and unlocks, which feel like they're designed to frustrate the players more than help them. But I also think it's nice, because it does force you to really experience the game in total. Because in some other games, achievements are there, and you just kind of... Oops. You just kind of do the achievements for the sake of doing them. It's, oh, go to this, or unlock this, and blah blah blah, right? And it's not... Or like you have achievements tied to in-game things. For example, when you get to a certain chapter, it gives you an achievement for getting to that chapter, which is fine if you want to make your game like that. Don't let me stop you. But I do appreciate the games where they put in achievements which really showcase the entire game. So I think the one aspect, so for example, Ori and the Blind Forest, if you've ever heard of that fantastic game, has achievements for speedrunning and has achievements for beating the game without getting hit, etc, etc, right? First of all, they feel like the achievements to me, they actually feel like it's something you achieve when you try. I just teleported back to the same room, that's so funny. So they feel more true in that sense, but what I like about them the most is the fact that they do force you to experience the game in total. And the same with Isaac. If you want to get all the achievements, you have to do everything that's inside the game. You have to experience every single facet of Isaac, and I think that's nice. And honestly, what gives me motivation to keep trying and keep playing, and even try some characters which maybe I don't like as much, and just kind of be forced to learn them. And going through that process of learning makes me appreciate the game a little bit more, the design of these new characters a little bit more. Of course, this is all under the pretense that the game is good and fun to play, because if it's not, then why would anybody bother doing any achievements, right? I just feel like it's there, it's not. Maybe here? Maybe not. It's been gone for 45 minutes. Now, I don't know if I dilly-dally just because I have a fun time talking, but I don't need to step on the gas here. This is getting too long. I'm losing audience retention by the second. We're still in the womb, or utero, I guess. This is something that's also been... I didn't talk about it because I have the wrong PhD. I don't know why it's not giving me stats ups or spirit heart drops. I think it's supposed to do that. But it's not, so what the hell is going on there, huh? Yeah, this is something I've also failed to mention in any of my videos. Not because I wouldn't be excited or anything, because I am. But I guess I just never thought about it. And that's the fact that I got like 40 subscribers in the past month, and that's so exciting. Because I used to be partnered. Oh, Nose Goblin, that's actually really decent. I'm gonna take it. Because, I mean, the Wooden Cross is great. It does give us a little bit extra of defense, but Holy Mantle is just too good on its own. Now, no, I think it's even better. Because then we can avoid getting the active items, and that's... Huh. Oh, this is a hard choice. This is a hard choice. Now, I think taking no, the trinket is better. It's so the trinket that's on the ground is no. This one, and it prevents active items from spawning, which is really good. If you already have a good active item, just on the basis that passive items are always gonna benefit you in some way. So I was trying to gloat about my YouTube essentially. So yeah, I did get to like 120 subscribers, which is just, I'm so excited for that. It's more about the fact that there are apparently people out there who like listening to me and watch my videos, which is just exciting. Now, I know that the videos which are more informative in nature have some just genuine interest, because I actually portray something which I think people might be interested in, whether it's modding tutorials or anything like Isaac quick tips, which are just basically collected science about the game. And if you're interested about the game, obviously that's gonna interest you as well. But the fact that the people who watch videos like this, which is just me talking, have been kind of captivated by what I have to say is so endearing. It feels really, really special in some way. It feels unique. And for the longest time, I was doing YouTube with the pretense of just doing it and just uploading videos. And I don't really care too much about getting monetized. I mean, the videos probably have ads, but if you want to turn on ad blocker or whatever, dude, go ahead. Honestly, the ad situation on YouTube is fucking horrible. There's 100 ads every single minute, and if you have it on, just do it. It's honestly, I can't believe that anybody still watches without an ad block. Let me just put it that way. I just feel like the YouTube has been forced into this weird ecosystem where they're forced to kind of ramp up on the ads just to get more money from the advertisers. And you know, the AI approach is I know it works, I know it makes them the most money it possibly can, but I have to say the user experience is kind of terrible. And maybe I shouldn't say this out loud or something, but I'm not even a partner yet. So now, obviously, I'm not saying like if do what you want to do is the takeaway here. It's I'm not gonna make any decisions for anyone other than myself. But I do wonder. It's just I've always wondered, right? Every channel used to be partnered. Which means that you basically had ads on your videos and you could make some minuscule amount of money, because obviously when your channel is small, there's nothing you can really do or get because people aren't really watching your videos, right? Sometimes you're gonna have a hit and then you're gonna get like $30 from that, but that's all, right? But past that point, so at some point they removed it so that not every channel is monetized or partnered, which means that now you have to reach a certain milestone, and that's having 1,000 subscribers and 100,000 active yearly views, which is actually a lot more than it sounds. Getting to that point basically means you're dealing with YouTube is something you take seriously. You can't get 2,000 subscribers or 100,000 yearly views unless you're putting some effort into your channel, and I think it is a good. It's not a huge metric in the sense that it's unachievable, or that it's unachievable if people try hard enough, or if they find their niche, or they have something interesting to say. But I do have to say, for me personally, because I've been on and off, it always felt like a pipe dream a little bit. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna gun for that because there's no real point. But now that I'm seeing the numbers kind of go up, and I'm seeing that more people are finding my channel and things that I'm talking about, and especially when I consider that I'm gonna make more videos which have more general mass appeal at some point in the future, I'm thinking, wow, this is actually possible. And the idea of that is just kind of surreal, I suppose, because it does feel like it's an achievement to some extent, but it feels like it's an achievement that's not in my hands. It's not something I work at and then you get good at it, maybe like any other skill. Obviously, the more you make videos, the better you're gonna be, but it's not an achievement that's directly correlated to your effort, I suppose. So being rewarded that to some extent, or at least it feels that way, by other people, feels like a little bit of a privilege. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's a nice feeling, but it's definitely a unique kind of success, as opposed to a regular skill where you say you practice a lot and then you get really good at that particular thing. And it feels kind of awesome. It's not a lot. It's like the meme says. It's not much, but it's honest work, and it's exactly what it is, right? I do implore everyone who had inclinations ever to make videos to try it and just upload something and just do something that you're passionate about. I feel like there's truly today there's a market for everything. If you like makeup, there's makeup, obviously. There's a lot of that. If you're just into, say, collecting rocks, I feel like that's also has a market. I have a friend who does model building, and he builds models on streams, and he has a little sizable audience himself, and that's also nice. And most of it is just really him doing his hobby while interacting with people who are just chatting. It's more of a relaxing experience. It's not so much entertainment as it is a little community sharing their passions with each other. And there's also room for that on the online internet. And I think the more we go into the future, the more we realize just how uncomfortable some of the modern media is. Because I think we're at the point where people would rather... This is a comment I got on a Reddit post the other day, where one person said, I trust strangers on the internet a lot more than some of the big corporations. And I think the same thing is gonna happen with media. You're just gonna see, because at some point, right, the big media is... I mean, I think we're already reaching some of that. The big media producing movies, series, TV shows and whatnot. They're at the point where maybe they're losing a little bit of goodwill from the consumers for whatever reason, right? We're seeing the same rehashes of things over and over again. Reboots are not maybe as good as we'd hoped. We see that their main interest is basically capital and not really making quality products. When you combine all of that, I think it just leads to a natural inclination that at some point we're gonna get tired of it. And I think that more and more small content creators are gonna rise to the challenge again, and we're just gonna have an era where people consume more and more personal content. Why would I watch a 2-hour-long movie? I don't have to do that anymore. I can just go on just chatting on Twitch and just actually have a little bit of interaction with other people who are also watching the same stream. I should have just teleported out. Yeah, I could just go there and have a little interaction, and that just feels a little nicer than watching the same concept of a TV show for the 70th time. And of course, with modern generations, it's more and more common to enjoy this kind of media, and I think this is prime time to start creating. Especially people are inside, there's quarantine, the world is probably never gonna be the same again. Take advantage of that. If you've ever had a passion for it, I think this is a great time to start. This is kind of what made me get back... Oops, I thought it was my fire. That's kind of what made me get back into it as well. The idea that, oh, I know that everybody's kind of struggling right now. And I'm also kind of struggling in the sense that I don't like the current state of the world, where I don't like where it's heading. I somehow managed to discover on this run every single wrong pathway to the boss. And I'm not sure if it's just my subconscious wanting to extend this as much as possible, or if it's something else, but it's kind of funny. So yeah, I don't like what's going on right now. I just want to kind of voice that to some extent in a safe space where it still manages maybe to reach someone and just have a conversation, have a nice time playing some games. And here we are. I think that's kind of nice. It really is nice, another health upgrade. It really is the kind of climate which I think is suited for all of what I said. And I wonder how the world is gonna look like, maybe even next year. 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I assume next year things are still not gonna be really back to normal. And I assume in 5 years, we're gonna have other problems on our hands. With all the pollution that's been going on with masks and just other reusable things, I feel like we're gonna start dealing with another problem pretty soon after COVID, and it's not gonna be exactly smooth sailing. And I think we're gonna figure it out. It just, again, like with COVID, it's just a matter of time and some public discourse, and hopefully the collective individuals coming together save our planet and our world. And I really wonder how we're gonna handle all of that. And I did think it also showcased a little bit of a stress test. It was kind of a stress test for how prepared we are. It was also kind of a stress test for how we deal with things individually as well. With school especially, I think that's extremely apparent, because we had a lot of schooling online. And you can just see that the mentality maybe isn't really quite there yet. In terms of, oh, how do we approach it? How do we navigate online teaching, and how do kids or students even interpret it? And all of that is it's difficult, right? It's not trivial in the sense that it would be obvious what the best practices are. And hopefully maybe we develop some best practices. I honestly think it's ridiculous. We live in an information age where everyone has access to computers and the internet, yet that is still not a part of our curriculum. Why is more teaching not done online? Or at least where it makes sense. I feel like with certain subjects, like say programming, teaching online where everybody has access to their own computers is just a natural fit instead of, say, explaining it in live on the board. Like writing code on the board is probably the most insane thing anybody could ever do, and yet we do it. Or just show it, like showing these things. It's certainly there are some practical things which are better done online, and maybe this gets us going in that direction, which would be exciting. Okay, so Isaac, I'll need you to just die, because I'm really annoyed that this run has been going on for an hour at this point. It's not a weak run, as you can see. I'm doing just fine. I'm dodging like crazy, but. Finally, give me some items. With the no trinket, we're hoping to get some passives. All of these are kind of terrible and not useful. Now, Daddy Longlegs is great, Gimpy is great, obviously, but everything else, just Jesus. Daddy Longlegs is the best item in the game. You can't change my mind about that. She's just fantastic. Come to the minefield. Yeah, oh, that felt satisfying at least. Please be in this direction, boss. I can't be wrong again. I didn't even get... I forget, did I get... I didn't get another devil deal, angel deal, I mean, to fight Mega Satan, right? If I had, that's probably bombed it. Maybe I just forgot, that's entirely possible. The world, thank you. Okay, fuck the secret room. How did I not get hit there? That was fantastic dodging. Thank you! Okay, now we have... Baby, you got a stew going. Too little too late, to be fair, but... I'm excited just to have something that differentiates this run from having regular tiers and stats and effects. I think if you want to do full damage now, you have to fully charge it. Like, just tap shooting doesn't really work anymore. I mean, I obviously don't know what's going on. Pickaxe is a fun item. Okay, good. This guy, I have to say I don't like any enemy which has invisibility frames. It just takes too long. Yes, I get it. Bye. Blue baby time. Come on, let's go. I still have the chariot and I'm not afraid to use it. Nice, nice. Solid dodging. Oh, the minefield is ready, dude. The minefield is ready. He's gonna eat it. I don't have to say it's gonna be on one run. I just want it to be a spectacular finish. I don't know how much damage I do, so I'm gonna be extra safe. And make an epic exit. Okay, I feel like this should be enough. Blue baby, it was nice knowing you. That was nice. Something wicked this way comes. I don't know what this achievement is, but I'm scared of it. I'm also going to use a chariot. I just feel like I owe it at this point. I'll just wait for the jingle to run out, and then I'm going to say goodbye. So, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. It was a long run. We talked about some very deep topics, I would say. Maybe not the most entertaining episode, but we got to the end, and I think sometimes that's all that matters. So, thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I thank you for your time, and hopefully, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!